Welcome to the Purple Party, known as Purple Nerd Channel, home for all those who geek out on all things Prince related. Jesse Johnson is a musician, singer, songwriter, producer who's most famous for his time with the band The Time, where he was their lead guitarist. Jesse Johnson grew up in East St. Louis and Rock Island, Illinois, before moving to Minneapolis after being convinced by some band members he toured with that he should go there and check out their scene. Shortly after moving to Minneapolis, Jesse Johnson met Morris Day and joined his band Enterprise as the lead guitarist. When Morris Day became the lead singer of Prince's group The Time, Prince asked Morris to go ahead and find the rest of the members of the band and brought Jesse on as guitarist. Strangely enough, Jesse didn't even audition for Prince. Pretty much he was introduced to Prince by Morris Day, and Prince walked over, looked him up and down, and said, "Yeah, he looks good. Go ahead and hire him." All the Time's albums were written and produced and technically performed by Prince, and Morris would just simply record over Prince's guide vocals up until their album Ice Cream Castle, released in 1984, gaining sales momentum due to its tie-in with the film Purple Rain, which featured The Time. On this release, Jesse Johnson co-wrote 2 of the songs, plays guitar on one of them, and even plays drums on another. The success of the album, though, was very short-lived. Pretty much once it was released, Morris quit the group. After this happened, Jesse was certain that he would get the opportunity to become the lead singer and basically take over the band, getting some creative control of the band from Prince. But Prince chose the keyboardist St. Paul instead to take over as the lead singer of the group, which this decision led to Jesse quitting the band as well. Jesse went ahead and contacted the man that got Prince his record deal, Owen Husney, and signed him on as his manager, which led to Owen getting Jesse a solo record deal with A&M Records. For his debut album, Jesse went ahead and put a band together that included 2 members of The Time, Mark Cardenas and Jerry Hubbard, and had even more Prince connections with David Z engineering the project, and Prince's photographer Jeff Katz doing all the photography for the album. Jesse would write, produce, and arrange all the songs on the album, while handling lead vocals and guitar. Jesse Johnson's Revue was released on February 2nd, 1985, peaking at number 4 on the Billboard Top 200 and number 8 on the R&B charts, selling just a little over 700,000 copies on its initial release. Singles were released for Be Your Man, which peaked at number 4 on the R&B charts, Can You Help Me, which peaked at number 3 on the R&B charts, I Want My Girl, which peaked at number 7 on the R&B charts, and Let's Have Some Fun, which only made it to number 87 on the R&B charts. Videos were released for I Want My Girl and Be Your Man. Jesse Johnson toured for the album, as well as performed on Soul Train and American Bandstand. This album was nothing like I was expecting it to be. I mean, the whole album is really heavy with synthesizers and keyboards, instead of Jesse killing it on his electric guitar like we know he's able to do. Plus, this album sounds to me just like another Time album, as if Jesse wrote it to be the next album for The Time, which makes sense as he thought he was, in the lead to be the leader of the band next. And trust me, as we go through this album, I will explain more. We open up with Be Your Man. Which opens up with a car coming to an abrupt stop, a similar skit that we've heard on a couple of the Times records before, right before we get hit with the bass line and the synth groove. That definitely shows off Jesse's funkiness, and I gotta tell you, this hook is super catchy. In the song, Jesse is telling a young lady that he in fact wants to be her man, as she drives him absolutely crazy. There's a lot of call-outs in the song, very similar to stuff that Prince and Morris Day would say. A good example is when he yells out horns, and of course he gets a reply from synthesized horns and not actual horns. Next is I Want My Girl. Jesse slows things down just a bit for this one, with a soothing groove that you just can't help but sway back and forth to. But we still have a song that's dominated with synthesizers and keyboards, and still no electric guitar solo from Jesse. Vocally, by now, we can see that Jesse really doesn't have a huge range when it comes to singing, but he makes up for it by layering a lot of really good background singers behind him and creating some really catchy hooks and melodies. The song is actually kind of dark as Jesse's explaining a terrible relationship with a terrible woman, but for whatever reason he wants to be back with her and stay with her, even if that means that she gets to sleep with other men. Next is She Won't Let Go. We get a really funky dance groove on this one, but with some synthesizer sounds that sound really similar to the Ghostbusters theme. In this song, Jesse describes a woman that just can't get enough sex, and the weirder the act is, the more she likes it. There are 2 breaks in this song, and each time we get a break, I'm like, yep, here comes the guitar solo. But nope, no guitar solo. Next is Just Too Much. This song sounds like it came right off the Times album, What Time Is It? But it's all good though, cause it's still super funky. Except I got a problem with the ending of the song, cause as soon as the song starts to fade off, all of a sudden we start to hear some notes of a guitar solo. It's like, why didn't you go ahead and just give us a whole guitar solo? In the song, Jesse praises an attractive woman that he feels is just too much on his eyes, but he must have her. Next is Let's Have Some Fun. We get more pounding synthesizer work on this one with another catchy hook. But I do hear a little bit of DMSR in this one. Finally, I get my guitar solo from Jesse. It's only 4 bars, but hey, we finally get it. I mean, we only had to go over half the album before we got it. In the song, Jesse asks a lady to join him for a night on the town as he believes that she is just as wild as he is. Oh, and again he yells out for horns and gets, the synthesized ones replying back to him. Next is Can You Help Me?
Can you help me? Baby, can you help me?
This song is so unbelievably catchy, and I really love the lyrical delivery. In the song, Jesse is trying to talk to this attractive woman, but she's just so attractive that she's making him nervous, so he's hoping that she would go ahead and make the first move, which would give him a boost in his confidence. And on this song, we finally get a proper guitar explosion from Jesse, and it was totally worth the wait. Next is Special Love. I really dig this beat and back melody. It's really funky and smooth all at the same time. And the hook and the bridge just make you want to sing out loud. This is one of those I found real love songs, as Jesse is praising his woman for making him a better man. Next we close out with She's a Doll.
She's a doll, she's so full of wow, 'cause baby, you know.
I'm sorry, but I don't know what it is with the keyboards and the synthesizer sounds, but this song sounds like the theme music to a retro video game, as it just sounds so electronic. But the verses and the choruses have such a smooth delivery, and we get some of that guitar work sprinkled in too, which leads to an epic guitar solo. The song ends with the sound effect of a car crashing. There are so many moments in this album where there's like a squealing keyboard or synthesizer sound, which honestly should have been done with the electric guitar. And if there was more signature Jesse Johnson guitar work on this album, I would have to say this album is absolutely amazing. But because it's not there, I just have to say that this is a good album. And for whatever reason, Jesse Johnson has been like a controversial member of the Purple family, where there are those who just find him as a Prince knockoff without the vocal range of Prince. And then there's those on the other side that think he's way funkier than Prince and actually accuse Prince of stealing his style from Jesse. And then you got me in the middle. I think he's an amazing artist, and I do believe that his resume speaks for itself. After this album, Jesse would go on to release 2 more albums with A&M Records, Shockadelica in 1986 and Every Shade of Love in 1988. Shockadelica went on to sell over 1 million copies and made it to number 15 on the R&B charts, while Every Shade of Love sold over 500,000 copies. In 1996, he would release Bare My Naked Soul, and the double CD Verbal Penetration in 2009. During these solo projects though, Jesse worked on several soundtracks, including The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Another 48 Hours, and White Man Can't Jump, just to name a few. He also wrote and produced for several different artists and acts, some of which being Paula Abdul and Janet Jackson, and Minneapolis groups like Tamar and the Scene and Wendy and Lisa. He would also contribute to the Times' next album, Pandemonium, and the original Seven's Condensate. Jesse Johnson would join D'Angelo's band The Vanguard in 2011 and play on their album Black Messiah, released in 2014. Rumor has it that Jesse is planning on dropping a new album this year, and I hope the rumors are true. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Please like and share this video, and as always, please subscribe to the channel. And if you got a moment, go ahead and check out my Patreon page. I'll have links for that down in the description below. And on the next episode, I talk about an EP from Prince that was never released. And until the next episode, I wish you heaven.